It is fun. There's nothing I'd rather be doing. Even in this cold winter weather, having to trudge out here in the snow after dark to give the horses their last feeding of hay, it's worth it when I open the barn door and hear them all nicker. Makes me feel wanted and needed. Generally, they're all pretty curious about unfamiliar things. So if you're a stranger and you go walking up to a horse, most of them will come over to you and, wonder who you are, sniff ya. Horses are definitely easier to deal with than the people. The people can talk, and the horses can't. I do sometimes get mad at horses, specifically if I'm training a young horse or a problem horse who's having a disagreement with me. As far as the training goes, sometimes it's simple as, you're teaching them to go forward by a squeeze of your leg, and they don't want to, and they want to see if you're really going to make them do it. So then you get into a little bit of an argument. And some of them that are more strong-willed will really put up a fuss. That's the only time, really. It's the only time I will really get angry at a horse, is if they, if they retaliate and tell me, no, I don't want to. Some of them say that in their own little way. Horses have very good senses as far as their hearing, and their vision is very good. Those ears can swivel around 360 degrees, and that's why it's a little easy to spook a horse, because they have such good vision and hearing. They notice a lot of little things that we don't. So that's why they're a little bit jumpy. I had come out here that day to ride a horse, and it was a horse that has been in training with me that belongs to a client of mine, a young horse. I had one of my friends, Caitlin, who tacked up to ride with me, and we went out together to one of the rings. We were doing nothing that you'd really consider risky. It's funny in this business of riding how you can put a label on certain activities as high risk, jumping cross country, galloping through fields is what you would consider risky. But that day we were just cantering around the ring, just flat ring. And out of nowhere, the horse just tripped so hard on her front feet that she went into a somersault. So her initial trip threw me down to the ground, and I did not realize at the time what was happening behind me, that this big horse was actually somersaulting, and before I could even think to move, her hind end just came crashing down right on top of me and crushed my chest. She landed right on my chest area. And I heard a lot of crunching and cracking, so I knew it was bad right away, especially when I tried to take my first breath and it was gargly. My lungs were filling up with fluid right away. But I'm just very thankful that Caitlin was riding with me that day because I could not move. And if she wasn't there, I don't know how long I would have laid out there before anybody found me. So it's scary to think about that. Once I got to the hospital and got checked out by the doctors, they discovered that I had 4 broken ribs. Both of my lungs were collapsed, one of which was punctured. I had 3 fractures of my collarbones, 1 fracture in my left collarbone and 2 fractures of my right collarbone. So I was pretty banged up. They had to put a chest tube into my side to drain the lung that was filling up with fluid. That was the worst of the injuries. There's nothing they can do for ribs, so that really wasn't, I mean, it was painful, but there really wasn't much they could do. But the lung was definitely a concern, and it was a race to get to the hospital on time since both of my lungs were collapsed. It was, basically only a matter of time before I was going to suffocate. So, but I did get back on a horse sooner than later. They wanted me to wait 3 months, but I think it was a month and a half, and I was feeling better, and I just wanted to do it, and I felt like I needed to do it. Decided that particular horse I wasn't going to ride again. That particular horse I just wanted to stay away from, because I had concerns about it even before the accident. I had concerns about the horse's soundness and way of moving. But, my own horse, I had no reservations hopping back on him. It felt fine. I must say, I think it was my second ride. My own horse, did this little trip in the ring, and it made me gasp. But then that was it. Ever since then, it was fine. He did just a little trip, little hiccup, and we were on our way.